Making character dialogue in your game can be as easy or as difficult as you'd like it to be. Dependent on the type of game you're trying to make, you may have more or less potential with your characters, maybe you even have none at all. But if you're serious about story, or in our case, having extremely unique characters, here you might be able to find some tips on how to create your characters and make them feel more natural. Starting with character arcs. Now, you may not need to go to the depths of saying the word Dutch in various different states of disapproval. Dutch. But taking your characters through the story and having their personalities develop will make it feel like your character is growing throughout the story. This works perfectly if you have a linear story that the main character will traverse, but in our case, having the game run from a weekly cycle, Monday to Friday, meant that, similar to various sitcoms that reset every episode and the characters haven't changed at all, our characters needed to have an arc that went from Monday to Friday and reset at the end of the week. If we take Frank, for example, originally we knew nothing about our characters except for the various behaviours that would eventually make them ineffective in their office jobs. So when it came to developing a story for Frank, I tried to visualise what that kind of person is, and having worked in an office, I had plenty of examples to pull from. Frank, on a weekly basis, will run into difficulties within his marriage, and you may hear several comments from him about his wife, Debbie, and also his lackluster son, Ronaldo. Building in those extra characteristics to our characters also helped with the interactability. Frank shares an office with Capital, and given Capital's love for women, he may also dabble and play a part in Frank's marital difficulties. So knowing all of the characters' extra attributes meant that this once daunting spreadsheet had now become a canvas for us to paint our various different degenerates, Neanderthals and freaks onto, spouting their various different religious ideologies, political biases, and downright delusions. So the only other thing we had to consider were our limitations. We knew that the text box on screen was only going to fit a certain amount in it, and that it was only going to appear on screen for a certain amount of time. So every line of dialogue had to be expertly crafted to fit a certain text box, for lack of a better word, and that all the dialogue needed to be concise and a standalone sentence. Whilst we knew that certain sentences had to be evidence related and give information on other people's misdeeds within the office, we also like to think we're quite funny at Banana Jam Games, and as such have filled the dialogue with various little different lines to poke fun at the characters that we've created. There's also nothing wrong with drawing inspiration from various other individuals in pop culture. One character it was extremely helpful to imagine as Patrick Bateman.
Listen, I cannot understand you! This is crazy! You understand?
Having these notes on the different characters also allowed us to write scenes where they're sharing an office with another character much easier, as we know how these two people would interact in an office setting and what likely conversations would come about. We also love a bit of absurdity at Banana Jam Games, and as such, a lot of characters are very hypocritical in nature. For instance, the head of HR is an avid nudist. Nobody seems to recognise that a reptile is actually living in one of the offices, and also nobody has thought to remove the 400-year-old French aristocrat within the fridge. So after using all of these tools, creating 9 different characters, all with schedules Monday to Friday, plugging them into the game and seeing them in action in the office, whilst the game doesn't necessarily hit AAA levels of lived-in immersion, the office did actually start to feel like a real place, and these characters started to feel like real people. Having these characters reference each other and discuss other people's dirty laundry, as well as discussing their own problems within their own lives, and the various things they got up to on the weekend, all came together to make me feel like Bog Standard Solutions was a real office. With any luck, you've not had to deal with these types of individuals at an office that you have worked at in the past, or currently. But as I am sure you know, every workplace has that one person that isn't quite right. All we have done with Fire Me, I Insist at Bog Standard Solutions is made it that every character isn't quite right. At present, we are looking to release Fire Me I Insist mid-March, and as soon as we have any further details on where you can see the game, its trailer, and any additional features that we've included, we will be sure to let you know on this channel and on our Discord, which is linked down below. I've been Beppis, and thank you for watching.